These evil demons will stop at nothing to pry open the lid of a massive sacred urn, a vessel forged to lock away pure evil, guarded by the most righteous immortal in existence. They were seconds from succeeding, but to stop them, the celestial court's immortal warriors conjured a divine tree that sealed every possible escape route, proving that when justice stands tall, darkness always falls. But soon we'll uncover an uncomfortable truth. Maybe humanity would actually be better off if these demons broke free and faced the gods themselves. Let's go. The movie continued when both boys proved themselves fearless warriors, even daring to defy the gods to escape their fated deaths. For Nisa should have been destroyed for housing the demon pearl, and Ao Bing for stealing the spirit pearl. Though their bodies were completely disintegrated, their souls were preserved inside a magical flower to prevent them from vanishing entirely. If they stayed there too long, their spirits would fade forever. That's why Nez's master, the chubby monk Tai, hatched a plan to give them new bodies. He rallied the villagers to help craft wax figures that would serve as vessels for their souls. With the help of his pet, they molded the wax into shape. Neza briefly considered changing his look, but in the end decided to keep his old appearance. Once ready, Tai placed their souls into the wax bodies to begin a ritual that would take a few minutes to complete. But before the ceremony could finish, Neza's father arrived with bad news. Shin and the dragons were launching an attack. Just 4 hours earlier, Shin Aobing's master had spoken to the Dragon King, telling him what had happened to his son. Believing Aoing was dead, the Dragon King was consumed with vengeance against the people of Qintang. Other dragons, leaders of different regions, urged him to take revenge. The Western dragons even revealed a special ability she possessed, the Sky Claw, a power that allowed her to move instantly between locations. She gifted the claw to Shin, who forged it into a deadly weapon. With it, Shin opened portals, unleashing dragons and imprisoned beasts to attack Qintang, sparking a brutal clash between monsters and humans. The soldiers tried to fight back, but their weapons were useless against the terrifying creatures. Only Nisa's parents could go toe-to-toe with them, swiftly taking down a sword-wielding octopus and a brawling shark intent on ending them. Nesh's father tells Shen that is still alive. Shin doesn't buy it and heads off to find the monk known as the Big Belly. He rips open a rift, summoning the western, northern, and southern dragons, whose fire tears through the protective shield the chubby Chinolo monk had set up to stop the ritual. To protect Nessa and the monk, Pink jumps in before the ritual can finish. Using his ice powers, he builds a barrier strong enough to block the dragon's flames. But the effort drains him so much that he loses his newly formed body. The Dragon King senses his aura, separates his own spirit from his body, and rises from the abyss to see the son he thought had died. While that's happening, the Big Belly monk seizes the moment to complete Nesh's body, which is reborn from the magical flower. The downside, the container uses up all its energy and crumbles away, leaving the monk unable to create another body, for without one, is on the brink of disappearing forever. The little dragon prince begs his father to drop his grudge against the gods and spare Nesh's people. At the same time, Nisa, seeing how desperate his friend's situation is, begs the chubby monk to find a solution. The monk says the only way to keep alive is for the two boys to share one body. The dragon prince fuses with Nisa, but the catch is the merge will only last 7 days. After that, will be expelled and gone for good. Shin, determined to save his student, tells them there's still hope. In the heavenly palace, there's an elixir that can bring the magical flower back to life and restore. But since the prince is the Dragon King's son, Tai doubts the supreme god would hand it over given the bad blood between gods and dragons. So the immortal beanpole comes up with a plan. Nesha will enter the Ascension Trial, a celestial competition where the winner earns immortality and the right to choose one magical item from the Supreme Palace. If Nasa wins, he can claim the elixir, except the Dragon King warns him that if he loses, he'll wipe out Nesha's entire village. Wanting to save both his people and Nesha agrees and heads to the Heavenly Palace with his master. Along the way, the Big Belly monk warns them. If they tap into Nesha's energy, it will give off a demonic aura, revealing that he's tied to the demon gem. That means only should fight. The monk trains them to balance their energies, but the boys completely bungle it. Nesha can't calm his ki enough to let take control, So the monk slips Nesha a sleeping pill, letting the dragon prince pilot his body instead. When the monk tests him, we see just how strong Pink really is. He wipes the floor with the monk. Eventually, they reach the Supreme Palace, where the monk convinces everyone that Nesha is the reincarnation of the Spirit Stone, not the Demon Gem. There he learns his own master's on vacation and has left his immortal brother Gilionk in charge. While the monks are talking, Nesha wakes up, takes back control of his body, and starts acting completely differently from unlike his friend. Our main guy is an absolute slob with zero shame. He literally whips it out and starts peeing in the middle of the royal palace. The guards are horrified and try sending him to the restroom. But since he doesn't know where it is, he wanders into a room filled with beautiful crystal jugs of water, which unfortunately are not water at all anymore. Yep, he's just relieved himself in the palace's most prized beverages reserved for special banquets. So when everyone gathers at the table and pours themselves a drink, they unknowingly sip the special batch he prepared. Meanwhile, back in the village, Neza's father begs Shin to let the doctors go out and find medicine for the wounded, but the skinny guy refuses. Orders from the Dragon King say no one leaves. Still, Shin's not all bad. He takes the medicine list himself, intending to sneak out and bring it back. While this is going on, Shin's long-lost feline brother shows up. Years ago, Shin promised him that if he could control his beast form and take on a human shape, he'd bring him to the sacred temple of the immortals, because Shin used to be one of them before becoming a servant of the Dragon King. Not wanting his brother to find out he's now working for a tyrant, Shin lies, makes excuses, and sends him home. As for Neza, he gets transported to a colony of beaver demons, where his first trial is to defeat their massive boss. He tries taking a sleeping pill so Vinka, his inner warrior spirit, can take over. But the pills don't work anymore, because he's built up resistance. He downs even more, but before they kick in, a beaver smacks him with a giant mallet, knocking the capsule straight into a nasty, foul-smelling soup. With no other choice, Neza swallows the soup, and Vinka takes control, unleashing hell on the beaver boss. The downside: the moment the gross taste hits him, Neza pukes, losing control again, just in time for a beaver to pummel him unconscious. Vinka jumps back in, finishes off the beast, and wins the first trial. Later, back at the palace, Wong tells Tai he's planning to send both of them to the two golden immortals. A gathering of divine beings is called, and the bald old master brags that he's made thousands of immortality pills for his disciples just in case evil comes knocking. The next day, Neza heads into his second trial, facing a martial arts master training a group of wild beasts. Once again, Vinka takes over, delivering a brutal kick that launches the old fighter straight into a lake. But the man bounces back, slamming Nessa into a rock. To make things worse, this veteran can turn into pure electricity, letting him zip around instantly. Even so, Vinka outmaneuvers him, freezes the entire area, and shuts down his lightning tricks for good. That in truth, it's the seasoned master who ends up schooling him. This bargain bin Raiden lookalike summons a rainstorm, then unleashes his electric powers to give the kid a serious beating. Just as he's about to finish him off, his eyes fall on the banner of the Divine Palace. That split second of hesitation gives the chance to strike, freezing his arms solid. Realizing the boy represents the immortals, the veteran yields and tells his disciples to surrender, assuring them they'll have a better life at the sacred palace. At that moment, the Chinolo, a son, appears. It turns out he's Shin's younger brother. Seeing his father restrained, the boy launches himself at the immortals in a desperate attempt to protect him. The celestial troop leader quickly loses patience and fires a divine arrow straight at the kid. His father leaps in front, taking the blow, but the celestial isn't satisfied. He fires several more arrows to finish the job. The wounded master grabs his son and escapes in a burst of lightning, but his power runs out, leaving him collapsed on the ground. With his last bit of strength, he orders his son to run. The boy flees through the forest, badly hurt, until he finds his older brother. Gasping for breath, he explains that Nella took their father's life, igniting the wrath of the gaunt, sinister villain who now seeks revenge. Meanwhile, the monk's disciples rush to the immortal's palace to report the attack. The Chinolo leader and Nessa return to the village only to find it completely in ruins. The bald vegetal-looking warrior and his guards arrive too, learning that abyssal monsters aided by dragons wiped out Nezha's home. The immortal traveler finally declares war on the demon beasts, and traitors transform into their battle forms and launch a fierce attack. Proving they're formidable fighters, here the kids show their true strength, managing to defeat the northern and southern dragons. But when the western dragon joins in and the fire-breathing beasts gain the upper hand, using the claw to open portals that attack the kids from every angle, the plump Chinolo, along with Nesh's parents, rushes to help. However, the guardian duo forgets them, engaging them in battle. Back with the main heroes, they combine their fire and ice powers to create a thick cloud of steam, blinding the dragons. Using their ability to mimic, they copy the appearance of the north and south beasts, turning the dragons against each other and ultimately defeating them. Meanwhile, the villainous vegetates his spell, turning the inside of the urn into a fiery cauldron to start converting the monsters into immortality pills. Nesha and Ben rush to stop him, but the old master proves incredibly strong, immobilizing the kids by impaling them with spikes from his spell. Vegeta also summons Roots with his staff, capturing Nesha's parents and the chubby Chinolo, throwing them all into the N except for his brother Panzan. Inside the N, Pin reunites with his father and explains to the Dragon King that the evil monk is the true mastermind behind everything. The mighty Emperor Dragon frees Nisha's parents from the Roots and shatters the abyss chains, releasing the trapped monsters. He then unites the creatures to fight the immortals, channeling their energy to avoid being turned into immortality stones. The only one unaffected by Vegeta's spell is Nisa. Being the reincarnation of the demonic pearl, the urn's fire can't harm him. Furious, the bald villain projects his soul into the N, and knowing he can't destroy Nisa, offers a deal. If Nesha eats the pill of forgetfulness, his parents will be spared. Nisha is about to accept, but his mother stops him, telling the old man that no one claiming to be justice would ever use a child's parents as leverage. Nisha's father steps in too, preventing his son from agreeing to the evil deal. Hearing this, the old monk withdraws, and the story reaches its most heartbreaking moment. Nisha confesses to his parents that he was willing to sacrifice himself to save them. Born as a demonic being, he knows he has always caused them pain, especially his mother. Even remembering all the times he hurt her, he recognizes she was always there to love him. Even now, although Nesha's body is covered in a curse of thorns, his mother embraces him with all her love and says goodbye, transforming herself into an immortality pill. Enraged, the kid doesn't care about the thorn curse and destroys his own body completely. This triggers an evolution, and Nesha reaches his final physical form. With his new form, he breaks the spell holding Vink's body, and together they use all their strength to pry open the container. But the bald old master won't make it easy. He calls on his disciples to create a massive tree that covers the urn's lid. As if that weren't enough, the ruthless villain orders his Chong clan followers to feed the tree with their energy, making the hero's job even harder. Just when it seems hopeless, the Dragon King and the other monsters step in, helping the kids push with all their might, and they smash the container to pieces, finally freeing themselves from captivity. Then an epic battle erupts between the abyss creatures and the immortals. Next, the elderly monk goes full berserker, transforming into a hulking bald powerhouse wrapped in roots that he swings at the heroes. He traps the kids and starts crushing them, but they combine their strength, break free, and charge at him with everything they've got. Nisa, riding Vink's dragon form, lands multiple fiery blows, slamming the villain against a giant staff. Just as they're about to finish him off, the monk's disciples and the Western Dragon open a portal, whisking him away in defeat. Humiliated, they flee to the sacred palace, leaving the immortals stunned, while the abyss monsters celebrate their victory over the celestial children. With the battle over, asks Nesha to join him in rebuilding his kingdom in the ocean depths, a safe haven for the abyss creatures, away from the gods. But Nesha refuses to run anymore, choosing instead to stay with loved ones and face her destiny. Understanding her decision, the Dragon King tells to stick with his friend and forge his own path. Together, the two kids get ready for new adventures, no matter what challenges lie ahead. In the post-Reddit scene, the defeated monk swears revenge and heads to the palace's secret chamber where Shin and his father are imprisoned. He threatens Shin, forcing him to help with his plan in exchange for sparing his father. On top of that, the merciless Veget summons two powerful warriors to the palace, determined not to fail again.